He came to upgrade his car. He didn't expect to stop running. Like the video, subscribe, and tell us what city and country you're watching from. Detroit was already slipping into evening when the Camaro rolled into the industrial district on the city's south side. The streets there were wide but mostly empty, framed by old brick warehouses and metal fences scarred by rust and time. The sound of the engine cut through the quiet, deep, controlled, unmistakably powerful. It wasn't the reckless roar of someone showing off. It was the sound of someone who knew exactly how much force sat under their foot and liked to feel it waiting. Jace Harper eased the Chevrolet Camaro SS to a stop in front of a garage that looked like it had been forgotten by progress. The sign above the door was faded, the paint chipped, the letters barely readable. No neon, no screens, no polished showroom glass. Just concrete, oil stains, and a half-open door that let warm yellow light spill onto the pavement. Jace shut off the engine and sat there for a moment longer than necessary. His hands remained on the steering wheel, fingers tight, as if letting go too soon might cause something inside him to shift. He finally stepped out, closing the door with care that contrasted with the aggression of the car itself. The Camaro was flawless. Matte black paint, wide tires, subtle modifications that spoke of money and precision rather than amateur flash. It was the kind of car people noticed even when they pretended not to stare. For Jace, it wasn't about attention. It was about noise, motion. The feeling that, as long as something was moving fast enough, nothing else could catch up. Inside the garage, Travis Lowe was wiping his hands on an old rag. He had been working on an engine block, but he stopped the moment he heard the Camaro arrive. Not because the sound impressed him, he'd heard better, but because of how controlled it was. Cars, like people, revealed things in how they entered a space. Jace walked in without hesitation. "I need it meaner," he said, not bothering with small talk. "More response, faster acceleration, tighter suspension. I want to feel it." Travis looked at him for a second, then glanced toward the open garage door where the Camaro sat cooling under the fading sky. He didn't move closer to it. He didn't ask what year, what package, what had already been done. Instead, he studied Jace. Jace was 31, tall, athletic, dressed simply, black jacket, jeans, boots worn but clean. He carried himself like someone used to taking control of rooms, but there was tension in the way his shoulders stayed slightly forward, like he was always bracing. His eyes kept flicking toward the door, toward the car, as if checking that it was still there. "Meaner how?" Travis asked calmly. Jace shrugged. "I don't know, just more. Every time I drive it, it's not enough anymore." That made Travis raise an eyebrow. Not enough for what? Jace exhaled through his nose, a short laugh that held no humor. "For control." Travis nodded slowly. He had heard that word countless times, spoken by people who usually had the least of it. He set the rag aside and leaned lightly against a workbench. "You know," he said, "most people who come in here want me to fix a problem." Jace's jaw tightened. "I'm paying for an upgrade." "I know," Travis replied. "But upgrades usually come after someone knows what's missing." Jace crossed his arms. "Are you going to work on the car or not?" Travis didn't answer right away. He looked again at Jace, at the faint scar near his hairline, at the way his right leg bounced almost imperceptibly when he stood still. Then he asked, almost casually, "When was the last time you drove slow?" The question landed wrong. Jace frowned. "That's not why I'm here." "No," Travis agreed. "But it's interesting you didn't answer."
Jace uncrossed his arms and took a step back, irritation flashing across his face. "Look, I've been to 3 shops already. They all said they could do what I'm asking. I picked this one because people said you don't talk much. Guess they were wrong. Travis didn't take the bait. People say a lot of things. He straightened and finally walked a few steps toward the Camaro, stopping just inside the doorway. He didn't touch it. He just looked. "Nice machine," he said. "But you're not here because it's slow." Jace's voice hardened. "You don't know why I'm here." Travis turned back to him. "Then tell me." There was a pause. Outside, a truck passed on the main road, its sound briefly echoing between the buildings before fading away. The garage seemed quieter after that. "I had an accident," Jace said finally. 3 years ago. Travis didn't interrupt. "I was driving with a friend," Jace continued. "Night, rain. We were going too fast." His mouth tightened, but he kept going. "He didn't make it." The words hung in the air, heavy but controlled, as if they had been repeated enough times to lose their sharp edges. Jace stared at the concrete floor while he spoke, not at Travis, not at the car. "I did," he finished. "And ever since then, standing still feels wrong." Travis nodded once. "So you drive?" "I drive fast," Jace corrected. "And it helps?" Jace hesitated, just for a fraction of a second. "It keeps things quiet." Travis let out a slow breath. "That's what I thought." Jace looked up sharply. "What does that mean?" "It means," Travis said evenly, "that your problem isn't horsepower." Jace's expression darkened. "I didn't come here for a therapy session." "I'm not offering one," Travis replied. "I'm telling you I won't touch the car today." Silence slammed down between them. "What?" Jace said. "That's ridiculous." "Maybe," Travis agreed, "but it's how I work." Jace shook his head in disbelief. "You're turning down money."
"I'm turning down a job that won't fix anything," Travis said. "At least not the thing you're actually fighting." Jace took a step toward him, anger finally breaking through the restraint. "You don't get to decide that." Travis met his gaze without flinching. "I get to decide what I work on." Another pause, longer this time. Jace looked toward the Camaro again, then back at Travis. "So what? You just send me away?" "No," Travis said. "I ask you to come back tomorrow." Jace let out a bitter laugh. "With the car?" Travis shook his head. "Without it." The request made no sense, and that was exactly why it hit so hard. "Why?" Jace demanded. "Because if you really just want an upgrade," Travis said, "you won't come back. You'll go somewhere else." "And if I do come back?" "Then maybe," Travis replied, "we talk about what you're actually trying to outrun." Jace stood there, caught between walking away and something far more uncomfortable. He had options. He had money. He didn't need this garage or this man. And yet, the words stuck. "Tomorrow," Jace said slowly. "Tomorrow," Travis confirmed. Jace turned and walked out without another word. The Camaro started smoothly, obedient as always. As it pulled away from the garage, its engine echoed once more through the empty street. Travis watched until the taillights disappeared. Only then did he return to his workbench, knowing that the hardest repairs never involved engines at all. Jace returned the next morning on foot. The walk from where he had parked a few blocks away felt longer than it should have, not because of the distance, but because of the absence. No engine noise, no vibration through the steering wheel, no familiar surge of motion to lean on. Detroit looked different at that pace. Cracks in the sidewalks, weeds pushing through concrete.
The city wasn't rushing anywhere, and for the first time in years, neither was he. The garage door was already open when he arrived.
Inside, the space was quiet in a way that felt deliberate. No radio, no other customers, just the low hum of the building itself settling into the morning. Travis was sitting on an overturned crate near the back wall, a cup of coffee in his hands, already cold. "You came," Travis said, without surprise. Jace nodded. "I said I would." "That's not why most people come back," Travis replied. Jace didn't answer. He stood near the entrance, hands in his jacket pockets, eyes moving around the garage as if looking for something he couldn't name. Without the Camaro outside, the place felt exposed, almost too honest. "So," Jace said finally, "you wanted to talk." Travis set the cup down and stood. "I wanted to listen." Jace let out a short breath. "I don't usually do this." "No one does," Travis said. "That's why it matters when they do." They sat on opposite sides of the garage, not facing each other directly. Travis didn't position himself like an authority. He chose the angle of someone willing to wait. "Tell me about the night," Travis said. Jace stiffened. "I already told you." "You told me the headline," Travis replied, "not the story." For a moment, Jace considered shutting down. He had done that well for years. He could feel the familiar instinct rising, the urge to compress everything into facts and move on. But without the car, without the noise, the instinct didn't land the same way. "It was raining," Jace began. "Not a storm, just enough to make the road slick. We were coming back from a late shift. I remember joking about how empty the highway was." His gaze fixed on a dark stain on the concrete floor. "I was driving," he continued. "He trusted me. I always drove." Travis didn't speak. "There was a turn I'd taken 100 times," Jace said. "I took it too fast. I corrected too late. The car spun." His voice remained steady, but his hands had clenched into fists. "I remember the impact," he said. Then silence. And then noise. People shouting. Sirens in the distance. He swallowed. "I tried to get out. I didn't feel hurt. I thought if I moved fast enough I could fix it. I could do something." Travis leaned forward slightly, listening. "They told me to stay still," Jace said. "Everyone did. Don't move. Help is coming." He laughed quietly, bitterly. "I listened, for once." The room felt smaller as the words settled. "And after?" Travis asked. "After," Jace said. "They told me it wasn't my fault. They told me accidents happen. They told me to be grateful I survived." He looked up then, eyes sharp. "No one told me what to do with that." Travis nodded. "Surviving doesn't come with instructions." Jace exhaled slowly. "After that night, everything slowed down. Doctors, meetings, lawyers, everyone focused on keeping things controlled, safe, predictable." His jaw tightened. "The first time I got behind the wheel again, it felt wrong. Too quiet, too careful." "So you pushed," Travis said. "Yes," Jace replied. "Speed made sense. Speed felt honest. When you're moving that fast, there's no space for anything else." "No room to think," Travis said. "No room to remember," Jace corrected. They sat in silence for a moment. Outside, the sound of distant traffic drifted in, muted and indifferent. "You know what I hear when you talk about the car?" Travis said eventually.
Jace looked at him. What? I hear someone who learned that standing still was dangerous, Travis said. Not because of the crash, because of what came after. Jace frowned. What does that mean? It means, Travis said, that at some point, movement stopped being a choice and became a shield. Jace leaned back against the wall. So what? I'm just supposed to stop driving? No, Travis said calmly. I'm saying you're driving for the wrong reason. Jace shook his head. You don't understand. When I'm not moving, it all comes back. The sound, the moment, the look on his face right before... He stopped himself. That's the thing, Travis said. Speed doesn't erase that. It just delays it. Jace closed his eyes briefly. Then why does slowing down feel worse? Because slowing down takes away the excuse, Travis replied. You can't blame the noise when it gets quiet. The words landed harder than Jace expected. He opened his eyes, anger flickering, then fading into something heavier. I don't want to feel stuck, he said. I don't want to sit with it. I know, Travis said. But running from something doesn't mean it stops chasing you. Jace laughed once, hollow. So what are you saying? That I'm broken? No, Travis replied. I'm saying you adapted. Jace looked at him sharply. You adapted to survive, Travis continued. You found a way to function. But survival modes aren't meant to be permanent. The phrase hit uncomfortably close. Jace had built his entire life around that adaptation. Work, money, cars, motion. It had all worked until it didn't. And the Camaro? Jace asked. You still won't touch it? I will, Travis said, but not to make it angrier. Jace frowned. Then what? To make it honest, Travis replied. A car should respond to the driver, not push them toward a cliff. Jace stared at the floor again. And if I don't want honesty? Travis shrugged. Then you'll find another shop. The answer was simple. No pressure, no sales pitch. That's it? Jace asked. That's it, Travis said. You don't owe me anything. But if you want to work on the car, we work on you not using it as armor. Jace let the silence stretch. For the first time since the accident, someone wasn't telling him how to cope. They were asking him why. All right, Jace said finally. We talk, then we work. Travis nodded once. Good. Jace stood and headed for the door. Before leaving, he paused. You really think speed won't fix this? He asked quietly. Travis met his gaze. Speed fixes engines, he said. Not grief. Jace stepped outside into the daylight. The street felt louder than it had on the way in,
More exposed. He took a deep breath and started walking, aware that the hardest part wasn't the road ahead, but learning how to stop running from it. Work on the Camaro began 2 days later. Not with noise, not with the dramatic lift of the hood or the immediate clatter of tools, but with inspection. Travis rolled the car into the center of the garage early in the morning, before the city had fully woken up. The concrete floor was clean, the air cool, the space quiet enough that even small movements sounded deliberate. Jace stood near the wall, hands in his pockets, watching. Travis moved around the Camaro slowly, methodically. He checked alignment, suspension travel, brake response. He listened to the engine idle, not for volume, but for balance. When he finally shut the hood, he didn't look impressed or disappointed. He just nodded, as if confirming something he already knew. You've taken care of it, Travis said.
It's not abused. Jace shrugged. I don't destroy things I rely on. That's interesting, Travis replied. Because you drive this like you don't care if it survives. Jace didn't answer. Instead of immediately working, Travis pulled out a chair and sat. Tell me what you expect to feel when you hit the gas, he said. Jace frowned. Response. Power. Like the car is ready. And after that? After that, Jace repeated. Nothing. Travis looked up at him. That's the part I don't buy. Jace shifted his weight. When I'm accelerating hard, there's no space, no thinking. Everything lines up. Lines up against what? Travis asked. Jace opened his mouth to respond and stopped. He hadn't expected the question. He leaned back against the wall, exhaling slowly. Against the moment when it all went wrong, he said finally. Travis nodded. That's what I thought. He stood and gestured toward the driver's seat. Get in. Jace hesitated. Now? Now, Travis said. We're not driving. I just want you to sit. Jace got into the Camaro.
The interior was familiar, comforting in a way that felt dangerous. He adjusted the seat automatically, hands moving with practiced ease. Travis stood outside the open door. Close your eyes, Travis said. Jace looked at him skeptically. Why? Because I want you to notice something, Travis replied. After a moment, Jace closed his eyes. Tell me what you feel, Travis said. Not the car. You. Jace frowned. I feel ready. Ready for what? To go, Jace said. And if you don't? Travis asked. The question lingered. Jace's chest tightened. I don't know, he admitted. That's the problem. Travis stepped back. That's why we're changing how this car behaves. Jace opened his eyes. You're not going to make it faster. No, Travis said. I'm going to make it harder to use speed as an escape. That didn't sit well. You said you'd work on the car, Jace said, not take it away from me. I'm not taking anything, Travis replied. I'm giving you control instead of temptation. Jace scoffed. Control is horsepower. No, Travis said calmly. Control is knowing when not to use it. The first changes were subtle. Travis adjusted throttle response, not to dull it, but to make it more linear. No sudden surge, no instant reward for aggression. The suspension was tuned for stability rather than stiffness. The steering became more communicative, less sharp on center. Jace watched it all with growing unease. You're making it boring, he said. Travis didn't look up. I'm making it honest. Later that afternoon, Travis handed Jace the keys. Take it out, he said. Same route you always drive. Jace slid behind the wheel and pulled onto the street. Instinct took over. He pressed the accelerator harder than necessary, expecting the familiar snap. It didn't come. The car moved quickly, but smoothly, predictably. There was no violent pull, no rush that shoved thought aside. Jace felt exposed, as if something had been taken from him. He slowed at the first intersection without meaning to. His jaw tightened. He pressed the gas again. The Camaro responded, but it didn't provoke him. It didn't dare him to push further. When he returned to the garage, he shut off the engine harder than necessary. What did you do? He asked. I took away the cliff, Travis replied. Jace ran a hand through his hair. I don't like it. That's the point, Travis said. Speed isn't supposed to feel like relief. Jace stared at the car. When I drive like this,
I can hear everything." "Yes," Travis said, "including yourself." Over the next few days, they repeated the process. Test drives, small adjustments, long stretches of silence. Jace found himself fighting the urge to push, to demand more aggression, more edge. Every time he did, the car refused to turn it into a reward. One evening, after a longer drive, Jace returned and sat in the car without turning off the engine. "I keep wanting to accelerate just to shut my head up," he said quietly. Travis leaned against the doorframe. "And does it work?" "No," Jace admitted. "Not anymore." "That's progress," Travis said. Jace laughed without humor. "Feels like losing something." "It feels like that when a coping mechanism stops working," Travis replied. "Even if it was hurting you." Jace looked at him. "So what am I supposed to do when it comes back?" "The memory." Travis didn't answer immediately. "You don't outrun it," he said finally. "You drive through it." The phrase stayed with Jace longer than he expected. On the next test drive, he took a different route: slower streets, traffic lights, pedestrians. He noticed things he hadn't in years: the rhythm of the city, the way his breathing changed when he wasn't constantly pushing forward. When he returned, he shut off the engine and sat quietly. "I always thought control meant never slowing down," he said. Travis nodded. "That's what fear teaches." Jace looked at the Camaro again. "And now?"
"Now," Travis said, "you're learning that slowing down doesn't mean stopping." Jace stepped out of the car. His legs felt heavier than usual, but steadier, too. He realized he wasn't exhausted the way he usually was after driving. "I don't know if I'm ready for this," he said. Travis met his gaze. "You already started." That night, Jace drove home under the city lights without pushing the engine once. The road felt longer, quieter, uncomfortable. But for the first time since the accident, he arrived without the feeling that he had left himself behind somewhere on the asphalt. Several weeks passed before Jace returned to the garage without calling ahead. By then, the Camaro had been finished for days. Travis hadn't rushed the work, and Jace hadn't rushed to pick it up. That alone would have been unthinkable a month earlier. Before, the car had been an extension of urgency. Now, it could wait. Detroit had shifted into early fall. The air was cooler, the light sharper, shadows longer. Jace parked the Camaro down the block and walked the rest of the way, not because he had to, but because he wanted the space. The engine was quiet behind him, cooling metal ticking softly, no longer demanding his attention. Inside the garage, Travis was working at the bench, adjusting a set of worn brake calipers from another job. He didn't look up when Jace entered. He seemed to know who it was by the sound of the footsteps alone. "You're not here for the car," Travis said. Jace stopped a few feet away. "No." Travis nodded once and went on with his work. The silence between them wasn't awkward. It was settled, the kind that didn't need to be filled. "I've been driving it," Jace said after a moment. "I know," Travis replied. "You'd be louder if you weren't." Jace gave a faint smile. "It's different." That was the idea. Jace leaned against the wall, arms crossed loosely. "I thought once you finished the work, I'd feel some kind of relief, like things would snap into place." "And they didn't," Travis said. "No," Jace admitted. "They just slowed down." Travis finally looked up at him. "That scare you?" Jace didn't answer right away. He considered the question carefully, as if it deserved more honesty than he usually gave himself. "Yes," he said. "More than the accident ever did."
Travis set his tools aside and wiped his hands. Why? Because when I'm not pushing, Jace said, there's nothing to blame. No speed, no adrenaline, just me. He looked down at the floor. I always thought if I stopped, everything would crash in on me. The guilt, the questions, the what-ifs. And did it? Travis asked. Jace shook his head slowly. No, not like I expected. What happened instead? I felt empty at first, Jace said. Then tired. Then normal. And that's what scared me. Travis raised an eyebrow. Normal how? Like the world didn't need me to keep proving something, Jace replied. Like I could exist without constantly justifying why I'm still here. The words surprised him as he said them. He hadn't planned that sentence. It came out on its own, fully formed, and once spoken, it refused to disappear. Travis nodded. That's a hard adjustment. I didn't realize how much of my life was built around not stopping, Jace continued. Work, deals, cars, everything was about momentum. If I kept moving forward, no one would ask me to look back. And now? Travis asked. And now, Jace said, people notice. He straightened slightly. My partners ask why I'm leaving meetings earlier, why I'm not pushing deadlines. My friends ask why I don't want to race anymore. They all say the same thing. What's that? Travis asked. That I've changed, Jace replied. Like it's a problem. Travis let out a quiet breath. Change threatens the story people tell themselves about you. Jace looked at him. That story was useful. It made things simple. I was the guy who survived and never slowed down. And now you're not, Travis said. No, Jace agreed.
Now I'm the guy who doesn't know what comes next. They sat with that for a moment.
You know, Jace said, part of me keeps thinking this is pointless. That slowing down won't bring him back. That nothing really changes. Travis didn't argue. It won't, he said. And it doesn't. Jace frowned. Then what's the point? The point, Travis said, isn't to undo the past. It's to stop living as if you're still inside it. Jace exhaled. I don't know how to do that. That's because you spent years mastering how not to, Travis replied. Jace let out a quiet laugh. You make it sound simple. I didn't say easy, Travis said. Jace walked toward the Camaro, visible through the open garage door. He ran a hand lightly along the roof, not possessive, not restless, thoughtful. I was going to ask you to make it faster again, he admitted. For a second, I really thought about it. And? Travis asked. And I realized that if I did, I'd be choosing the noise over the work, Jace said. I don't want to do that anymore. Travis nodded. That's a decision. It doesn't feel like victory, Jace said. It rarely does, Travis replied. Victory is loud. This is quieter. Jace turned back to him. What if this leads nowhere? What if it does? Travis countered. Jace shook his head. That's the thing. I'm not afraid of failure. I'm afraid of finding out that standing still doesn't destroy me. Travis studied him. That fear makes sense. Your whole identity was built around motion. Jace leaned against the workbench. If I stop being that guy, I don't know who replaces him. You don't replace him, Travis said. You expand. Jace considered that. And if I don't like what I find? Travis shrugged. Then you'll still be further along than pretending nothing changed. They didn't work on the car that day. They didn't need to. Instead, they talked about things Jace had never allowed space for before. About responsibility that didn't look like punishment.
About living without having to earn survival every morning. When Jace finally turned to leave, he paused at the door. "I think I'm going to keep the Camaro the way it is," he said. Travis smiled faintly. "Good. Not as a weapon," Jace added. "As a reminder." "Of what?" Travis asked. "That slowing down didn't kill me," Jace replied. "It just made room." He stepped outside. The street was quiet, ordinary. He got into the Camaro and started the engine. It responded smoothly, without aggression, without demand. As he pulled away, Jace realized something that unsettled and steadied him at the same time. For the first time since the accident, he wasn't driving to escape anything. He was driving because he chose to. Jace arrived early the next morning, earlier than he ever had before. The city was still half asleep, the streets damp with leftover night air, the sky pale and undecided. The Camaro was parked in its usual spot outside the garage, but this time it felt different to him. It wasn't pulling at him. It wasn't asking anything. It was just there. Travis was already inside, sweeping the floor with slow, unhurried movements. He didn't look surprised when Jace walked in. "You're early," Travis said. "I didn't want to rush today," Jace replied. Travis nodded as if that explained everything. He leaned the broom against the wall and wiped his hands on his jeans. For a moment, neither of them spoke. The garage felt settled, like a place that didn't need to prove its usefulness. Jace stood near the center of the room, hands relaxed at his sides. His posture was different now, less forward, less braced. It wasn't confidence exactly, but it wasn't tension either. "I took a long drive last night," Jace said. "Fast?" Travis asked. "No," Jace replied. "Long." Travis smiled faintly. "I kept expecting the urge to hit the gas," Jace continued, "to drown everything out. It didn't come. Or when it did, it passed." "That's new," Travis said. "It scared me at first," Jace admitted. "I thought something was wrong, like I was losing a part of myself. And now? And now I think I was losing something else before," Jace said. "Something quieter." Travis leaned against the workbench. "What was that?" "Choice," Jace said. "I was driving like I didn't have one." He glanced toward the Camaro through the open door. The car sat still, sunlight catching the edge of its hood. It looked the same as it always had, but the meaning had shifted. "I wanted to tell you something," Jace said. "About the accident." Travis waited. "I used to think surviving meant I owed the world proof," Jace said. "Proof that I deserved to be here. That I hadn't wasted the chance he didn't get." His voice stayed steady, but the words carried weight. "So I pushed, at work, on the road, everywhere. I thought if I stopped, it meant I was admitting something." "What?" Travis asked. "That I was alive," Jace said quietly. And he wasn't. The garage absorbed the silence that followed. "I see now that I turned survival into a sentence," Jace continued. "Something I had to serve by staying in motion. Speed made it feel justified." "And slowing down?" Travis asked. "Slowing down made it real," Jace replied. "And real doesn't disappear just because you outrun it." Travis nodded. "That's usually when people turn back." "I almost did," Jace admitted. "I almost asked you to undo everything, to give me the edge back. But you didn't." "No," Jace said, "because I realized something on that drive." He paused, choosing his words carefully. When I wasn't pushing, I wasn't empty. I was present. And that's what I'd been avoiding. Travis looked at him steadily. Being present takes more courage than speed. Jace exhaled, a sound halfway between relief and exhaustion. I don't feel finished, he said. I don't feel fixed. Good, Travis replied. You're not a machine. Jace smiled at that. They walked outside together.
The street was waking up now. A delivery truck passed. Someone laughed in the distance. Ordinary life continuing without ceremony. Jace opened the driver's door of the Camaro and rested his hand on the frame. I'm going to keep it like this, he said. No more chasing numbers. No more pretending the car is the answer. Travis nodded. What will it be then? A reminder, Jace said, of who I thought I had to be and who I don't. He got into the car, not with urgency, but with intention. He adjusted the seat, not automatically this time, but thoughtfully. When he started the engine, it responded smoothly, quietly confident. Before pulling away, Jace looked back at Travis. You know, he said, I came here thinking you'd make my car faster. And instead? Travis asked. Instead, you helped me stop running, Jace replied. Travis didn't correct him. He just gave a small nod. Jace pulled out onto the street slowly. No surge, no roar. The Camaro moved with him, not ahead of him. As he drove, he noticed his breathing. Steady, unforced. He noticed the road signs, the storefronts, the way the light hit the pavement. For years, driving had been about escape. Today, it was simply movement. He reached a red light and stopped. The car idled patiently. Jace rested his hands lightly on the wheel and waited without irritation. When the light turned green, he continued on, unhurried. Back at the garage, Travis watched until the car disappeared from view. He didn't feel the satisfaction of a job completed. What he felt instead was quieter and more lasting. Some repairs didn't announce themselves. They didn't come with dramatic before and after moments. They showed up in pauses, in choices not made, in the absence of urgency where it once ruled everything. Jace Harper didn't leave that garage transformed into someone else. He left as himself, minus the armor he no longer needed. The Camaro didn't change the world. It didn't need to.
What mattered was that the person behind the wheel no longer believed that speed was the only way forward. Sometimes the most important thing that starts moving again isn't a machine, but the part of a person that finally allows itself to slow down. And when that happens, everything else finds its pace. This was never about the car. It was about the choice to stop running. Like, subscribe, and tell us where you're watching from.